The glimmer of hope, it turns out, is not the president's pet drug, hydroxychloroquine. Now, an American pharmaceutical company called Moderna, taking sort of data and technology from a different virus that they've played with, they've created an early version of what may just be a vaccine. Way too early to tell. But what I can tell you, they injected this vaccine into only 8 people, all right? That's not a big sample. But all 8 developed antibodies to the coronavirus. And it doesn't matter at what dosage they were given this. Now, on the back of that announcement and a statement by the Federal Reserve Chairman about more stimulus, you know, the US stock market had its best day in 6 weeks on the back of the news of this potential vaccine development. And the company now says it's going into an accelerated timetable of testing, and they're going to move on and test it on 600 humans. Now, in the meantime, as you flag, President Trump has yet again been championing a different kind of drug. Now, this is a proven drug for an unproven purpose. This is the malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine. And the other day in the White House, just casually, accidentally on purpose, the president dropped this bombshell about his own use of hydroxychloroquine.
I happen to be taking it.
Hydroxychloroquine?
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, when?
A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right. I'm not going to get hurt by it.
And as I said, you know, that was naturally a bombshell here, because his own Food and Drug Administration has not approved this drug for this purpose. However, the president is doing this in consultation with the White House physician. But the timing is interesting. He says he started taking it about 2 weeks ago. Well, that's when his personal valet was detected as positive for coronavirus. Shortly thereafter, one of the vice president's spokespeople tested positive. Now, the Democratic Speaker of the House, essentially the leader of the opposition, said, isn't this a concern that the president is taking this drug? People with heart conditions shouldn't be taking it. And she openly suggested that someone as morbidly obese as the president probably shouldn't be on it. In retort, President Trump basically said that in terms of President Trump taking this drug, quote, what do you have to lose? I'm not sure he's aware of the irony.
Yeah, and Michael, as Australia, it's feeling the backlash right now from Beijing for championing that global inquiry into the world's handling of the coronavirus. President Trump has once more gone on the attack against the United Nations Health Organization for being too pro-Chinese.
Absolutely. So while Australia has succeeded in its promotion of a global inquiry into how this pandemic got to where it is, and we're now suffering blowback from that from Beijing. Well, as that's happening, overnight here in the United States, President Trump tweeted a copy of a letter he sent to the United Nations World Health Organization, where he says that, look, in April, I suspended your funding from the US government. I'm now putting you on notice. You have 30 days to demonstrate that you are free of Chinese influence, or I'm going to make that suspension of funding permanent, and we're going to consider whether the United States should be in the World Health Organization or not in the first place. So obviously this feeds in to the geopolitical picture about China and how the pandemic began and how it's been handled. Because, you know, President Trump says to the World Health Organization, because of its handling dealings with China, that, you know, you have cost the world. The only problem is here that, you know, look, I've been in the field in some of the worst countries in the world, in some of the worst situations, and I've seen the World Health Organization out there. And to be honest, they have to deal with all sorts of people, from warlords to rogue governments to insurgencies to the Chinese government. So the World Health Organization is in a difficult place. But now one wonders if Beijing will be wondering whether Canberra and Washington have been coordinating on this push that China will certainly see as an attack on its integrity.